Hey YouTube, this is Iron Maiden Rocks. Um, Coming here with a mini series called The Big Four, and I'm gonna review the Big Four of thrash and tell you how they stack up against each other, which one's better, which one's worse. And I'm gonna start off with Slayer's debut album, Show No Mercy. And Show No Mercy, it's been bad. It's been forgotten by people uh, because it doesn't sound like they do now, like Slayer sounds now, but it's still a great album. And one thing you'll notice about this album is that you will see a lot of Maiden, Priest, Diamond Head, Venom influences, King Diamond, Merciful Fate influences in this album, and I like that. I like those bands. My two favorite uh, genres of metal in metal is the new wave of British heavy metal and thrash. And coming and seeing these two combine and doing it and Slayer Show No Mercy is great. It's fresh, especially if you listen to old Slayer and then new Slayer and then listen to this. It's fresh. It sounds fresh. So Evil Has No Boundaries. Evil Has No Boundaries is a great track. It's fast. It's has a cool solo, and this is one thing I love about this first album, first Slayer album, that well Heyman and King would trade solos. They don't do that as much, just like KK Downing and Glenn Tipton do it. But they used to trade solos a lot. Now they don't, and Heyman and King used to do the same thing, but now they don't do it as much. So it's a nice thing to see that, and you see both of their styles, and it's just good. The Antichrist is what turned me onto this album. I remember hearing it. I was watching a thrash documentary, and I heard the intro to the Antichrist, and I was like, oh shit. The intro is so epic, sounds so evil. It sounds almost as evil as the Raining Blood intro, and faster. Great solo, great little slow melodic solo by Heyman, and it works so great. Um, Die by the Sword. It's a cool track. Um, it has a little breakdown in the middle. Um, and to it slows down, and it's really well written. And Heyman, I believe Heyman did the solo, the first solo with the whammy bar tricks, which I thought it was Kerry King, because if you listen to Kerry King's playing right now, that's all he does. It's mess with that Kaylor's whammy bar. So Heyman doing the whammy bar, and then Kerry King doing the fast solo, and then trading in between, and this is great. I just love that about this album. And in the middle piece where it slows down, you can hear Maiden, Priest, Diamond Head's influence in this. Um, Fight Till Death. Fight Till Death is my least favorite track of the album. It's not because it's bad. It's just that everything else is better than it. It's good. I forgot who did it, but someone from Dark Angel provided backing vocals in this song, and but it works. It's an okay track. Um, Metal Storm, Face the Slayer. That's a cool track. It has a lot. I believe, yeah, it's the longest track on this album, and it's great. Um, it has, like I said, Maiden influences. You could hear the intro. It sounds kind of like Transylvania, if Transylvania, from Iron Maiden's first debut, instrumental from the first debut album, Iron Maiden, and then it has a lot of parts that you don't think are coming, and when they're coming, you're like, oh shit. You don't see that much in Slayer albums, especially and the last time I felt that surprise from a Slayer album was in Seasons of the Abyss, where it was rumored that Kerry King actually went to study music and theory to write the album, and it came out great. But it's a side of Slayer you don't see anymore, and I wish it would come back. Um, Black Magic. Black Magic's the track you're hearing now, and it's fast. It's one of those first thrash songs, and it's great. Good solo by King. Then Heyman comes with the next solo, which is great, and cool slow breakdown this album has a lot of cool low breakdowns. So great song. One of my favorite. Tormentor is a good song, and um again, Maiden influences run throughout this album. They're just like in every song. You Good solo by Kerry King. One of the most complex solos from this album, I say. Because the solos aren't complex, but they're fast. And then it's like, whoa. But one of the most complex solos in this album done by King. And good song. Um, better, better than the Crater's Tormentor, in my opinion. The Final Command. The Final Command is a good track. It's a fast, slow, not slow, fast, but the timing is it's the shortest song on the album, and it's fast. Great harmony solo that Heyman and King do after King's solo, and just great. Um, Chronics. Chronics is where you're gonna hear the Maiden, Diano's Maiden influence the most, because it's just great. Great composition. In the middle, the breakdown sounds great. It's melodic. Heyman's solo is one of the best he's done. It's just it's just one of those tracks that when you listen to it the first time, you can't stop listening and you keep going back to it, and then it's just good. Show No Mercy. Show No Mercy is a good way to end the album, and it's the title track. Great drum solo, great drum intro solo by Dave Lombardo, which is one of the best drummers. And you can hear, this is extreme because right now in '83, although there was a lot of bands like experimenting with thrash, like Dark Angel, Exodus, um, and Testament, uh, what happened is that there was only like three bands that I can think that had a thrash album in '83, which was Anvil's Force and Fire, which was I believe the first thrash album. Then Metallica's hit the Kill 'Em All, which didn't have, well, Force and Fire had tremendous drumming, but Kill 'Em All didn't have tremendous drumming because Lars wasn't a drummer. I believe Lars is and I said it in my Death Magnetic review. I think Lars is one of the worst drummers ever. And then Dave Lombardo's drumming is phenomenal, and Show No Mercy is one of his great examples of why he's great. Um, Great solo by King, and great riffage, and um, I wish Slayer will, even though a lot of people have it's like Slayer, oh, extreme fast. I wish they would go back to this and actually write good, heavy music like this. I'm not saying their new stuff is good because I love Bolt Painted Blood, but it's just, I wish, and one of the things that I love about this album is Tom Araya, and his vocals are so different from the new stuff. He screamed a lot, and that's one of my favorite things about singers who can scream. That's why I'm a big fan of King Diamond, Rob Halford, and yeah, and King, Heyman doing a lot of good solos, and this is one thing that bothers me. King gets a lot of recognition for Slayer, but I think Heyman deserves more than he deserves. King is one of the worst, for me to say, one of the worst metal players. He's a good thrash guitar player, but he's one of the worst. And Heyman is better, and he deserves more respect than he gets. And Slayer, with this album, great. Gave him the little edge with the Satanism that they have, which Kerry King was really into it at that time. And like I always say, Venom was the prototype, and then Slayer just is the thing. And I love this album. And if you love new wave of British heavy metal like Maiden, Diamond Head, Priest, Venom, you're gonna enjoy this album. And if you want to hear a new side of Slayer that you haven't heard because you've been listening to the new albums like World Painted Blood or Raining Blood for that matter, um, you're gonna find a fresh Slayer here, and I always find it fresh when I listen to their new stuff compared to this album. So go pick this up. It's a great album.